All right, we are here. Let's get this show on the road. What is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Live stream time. Let's do it. Back again with another Sunday edition. All right. What's going on, guys? Back again with another live stream. I'll wait for everybody to get in before we get started. You guys know how it goes. Nibbles, what's up, bro? Happy Sunday. Hope you're doing well. How's everything going? Good? It's a good weekend? Bonjour. So cute. What's going on, everybody? Like I said, we'll wait for everybody to get in here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Hope everybody's having a good weekend, staying safe out there. Social distancing, all that other good stuff. You know, I'm sure we're probably all tired of it by now. Yeah, it's rainy. It is raining. It's raining over here, too. Steve, you live in Florida? What's going on, everybody? How's it going? How's it going? From Mexico. I think I got a Mexican dollar here somewhere. I was running through like all my old like currency that I have from like other places. Look at that. Bam. Mexico. I'm gonna probably like hang my money up somewhere from like different countries. I'm thinking about it. All right, how's it going, guys? Panama Beach in the house. It's good to be back here on another Sunday. I'm excited, guys. Well, I wouldn't say excited. Have you guys noticed, but we're gonna try to like focus on a specific subject for today's video. I'm doing all right. Today, I wanna, like for the most part, we're still gonna do Q&A how we normally do it, but I wanna talk about cruising for the rest of 2020. I wanna try to make this live a little bit more subject-based, I guess, so we can focus on one particular thing. Then we'll still do questions, of course, as always, because I like talking to everybody, answering questions, of course. Diane is here. All right, cool. Let's see, I think we're still waiting for the other moderators, Scott and Rob. Astronaut safe landing out of Florida. Oh, okay, wow, off the coast of Florida, good news. That is good news, it's always great. Wait until we go back to, wait till we get to everybody else, like going to space and everything whenever we can. That's gonna be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. When are you gonna make more ship life videos? Well, I made one yesterday. I might do one today because there's more news popping up. But at the very latest, I'm probably gonna try to get one out tomorrow morning. I've been kind of messing around with my schedule, figuring out exactly when I wanna get these videos up. I think the mornings are starting to work best for me. So we'll see though. I'll probably get a video out sometime later. Crystal River. Speaking of Crystal, y'all see what's going on with Crystal River Cruises? I think they canceled until 2021 or something like that, 2022, I believe. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Mary Lou Long, I appreciate it. Did okay, West Palm Beach on the storm. Yeah, we're definitely dodging a bullet there. I know everybody's worried about the hurricane and all that stuff, but I think we're gonna be all right. MSC Cruise, I haven't heard anything from MSC. I'll dig into it. Last I heard really was that they were planning on sailing out of the Mediterranean. I know they're still stuck on that, so we'll have to see. Fortunately, my contract was canceled. It was on board the Empress of the Seas. I'm sorry to hear that. So are they gonna move you? How's that gonna work? We're gonna wait for a couple more people to get in, and then we'll go ahead and start for today's live stream. Subject of today, will cruising be suspended for 2020, the rest of 2020 and start in 2021? We'll talk about it, guys. I'm sure everybody's aware of what's going on in the industry. A lot of crazy things happening right now. Yeah, so it's definitely an interesting time. Numbers going up in Greece. Yeah, exactly. And they're trying to open their ports up? I don't know. Is it official Empress of the Seas getting scrapped? Not to my knowledge. I think it's all still speculation. So we'll see. But yeah, so I do want to talk about what's going on with cruising for 2020, like the rest of the year. I'm sure you guys have seen already with everything that's happening with, not Ada. What ship was that? Mindshift. They're having cases on board the Mindshift 1. And then we had the outbreak on board the smaller cruise line, Hurtigruten out of Norway. But from what I understand, they've been doing everything right as far as their safety and their health and safety protocols. And they're still catching cases of the virus. I think the number is at like 39 now, something like that. So, you know, a lot of people are raising the question now if cruising is going to be done for 2020. In my opinion, I think there's a possibility now because if a small cruise line can't seem to, you know, get things organized and figured out, What does that mean for the big mega ships at the larger cruise lines like Carnival, MSC, Royal Caribbean, NCL? What do they stand a chance out there, you know, as far as sailing their ships? I think it just depends on how they conduct themselves, to be honest. I think a lot of cruise lines are probably going to start back up or try to, but if we end up having cases of the virus, you know, on these ships, which honestly is inevitable, we probably won't see cruising at least until like 2021. Cruise lines just keep pushing the dates back until we get to that point. You see Princess has already done it. They're going to push back until, what, December 15th, I believe. So we'll have to see how it all goes. Carol Boyer, thank you so much for the super chat. You got a question or something? I mean, if you guys put in super chats, you can always ask a question. I'll make sure I'll make it a priority and get to it. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. But yeah, 2020 is not looking good right now. Like I said, if this continues to happen, it's going to be a problem. MSC lay off employees. Yeah, I mean, every cruise line is going to start laying off employees. You guys see that cruise lines are going away, or cruise ships are going away, going to the scrapyard and stuff. I mean, it's only a matter of time. There are going to be a lot of people that are unfortunately permanently laid off. Good news, my son has an email, the renew contract on the Carnival. Oh, that's good, on the Vista. That's great. That's really good news. 2020 is done. It might be, you know. I mean, we're all trying to stay optimistic, of course. I think that's a given. However, we still have to be realistic to everything that's going on. You see what's happening with Hurtigruten. That's a small cruise line, right? They got small ships, and they can't even keep the numbers down. So if they're already at least at 39, they might end up having a couple more people, unfortunately, contract the virus. Ricky, thank you so much. I like that little sticker. What is that? Oh, how's it going? I'm doing all right. Thank you, guys. Yeah, any crew members out there, have you guys heard anything about getting back on the ship? Any updates, anything like that? Sorry, I'm getting my drink. Any updates so far? Have you guys heard anything from your cruise lines about restarting in 2020? Because I know a lot of cruise lines are starting to push back and talk about the unfortunate possibility of cruising not happening in 2020. And if it does happen and pushed until 2021, I could see it going maybe until them not starting until spring, because January, they might have the vaccine by then or beforehand, but to start in that time, it could be good for them because they won't have to deal with a huge influx of people like they would in the spring, but it might not be profitable. That's what I'm saying, March, so probably around springtime, something like that. Because they're probably looking long term. Because if you think about it, if the cruise lines are start up now, you see Hurtigruten, right? They're the perfect example. They're operating at 50% capacity. They might be turning a profit, but the other big guys, they may claim that they need 30% occupancy on board the ships to make a profit, but they're going to need more, especially considering how much in debt they're going to be. So they might wait. MSC is going to get sued for what? Deborah, why would MSC get sued? No, you're right. For the rest of the year, Alaska is definitely going to suffer. Parts of Alaska, a lot of the Caribbean islands, not all of them, because you guys got to keep in mind, some of these Caribbean islands do fine without the revenue, right? The ports are going to suffer, but the islands itself may do okay. The rich islands like Bermuda, they usually have a decent amount of money and revenue coming in there, in my opinion. Let's see, maybe like a St. Martin would be okay. The Bahamas is going to struggle. Will they upgrade me to a balcony due to occupancy requirements? That's a good question. I would assume they would. That would only make sense, because for all the people that have future cruise credit and you go on a cruise and you can't book inside cabin anymore, I guess they automatically kind of have to upgrade you to the balcony cabin, which isn't a bad deal. Honestly, thinking about that now, I think I might go ahead and book a couple more cruises, because if they have to automatically bump you to the balcony, that's a nice level up if they do that. That is a good question. I should look into that, but I think that's kind of self-explanatory. If you're taking a cruise and you have already booked an inside cabin and it's required by the CDC and just like worldwide rules are going to put people on the balcony, I guess everybody has to get upgraded to a balcony, if you think about it. Who knows? Maybe they'll find a way to like loop around that, but I can't see any other way. Yeah, what's going on with MSC? I know somebody was saying MSC might get sued for what? Something to do with the crew? Virgin's conducting interviews. Yeah, they are. Virgin's definitely conducting interviews. I mean, a lot of cruise lines are still going to do interviews. That doesn't mean they're going to technically hire somebody. Like you, Jay, without the hat. I wish I had I'm trying to get my dreadlocks back. I gotta wait for my hair to grow a little bit more. I don't like this little 80s afro thing that I'm doing, you know? Anyway, let's see. You can only book a balcony. No, I'm talking about, Desiree, I'm talking about for the people that already have cruises booked. If you already have a cruise booked and you booked inside cabin, what does that mean for you whenever cruising actually comes back? Does that mean if there's no vaccine, they're still doing things how they're planning on doing it with only balconies? Does that mean you automatically get upgraded to a balcony? That's what I want to know. I would assume that that'd be the only way. After what happened to the latest ship, they will be seen as ignoring safety and booking now. Yeah, I think that's the issue, right? A lot of people feel like cruise lines are just kind of being negligent. Wow, can't even talk right now. Negligent, you know, with how they're conducting themselves and planning on still starting up. So it's supposed to cruise in June 2021. Yeah, I think that'll happen. I think that'll happen. Now there are cruise lines out there though that are canceling all their operations until 2022. They're small ones though. I think there was one over in Australia, I believe, and then there was another one over in or here in the United States. Maybe I'm wrong. Is it Crystal? I got to look into it. I saw like a little brief article about it. I'm gonna look into it, maybe make a video, but I think it was Crystal River Cruises. They're canceling until like 2022. What do you think? Cruise for October 31st. I'm still sticking with the same thing. I mean, it's definitely possible at this point that cruising won't happen until 2021. But as far as the people that have cruises in, like, let's say November and August, I think if we don't hear confirmation between now and maybe mid-September, cruising is probably going to be pushed back until 2021. But what I know, maybe I could be wrong. That's just my assumption. I couldn't see cruise lines trying to start up at one of the busiest times of the year. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm thinking about it another way, but I can't imagine, you know, imagine holiday season. If you guys have cruised in November, December, you know it's a mess, a beautiful mess, right? The ships are packed, and it's usually like people are having family reunions and getting everybody together. I'm curious if cruise lines were to start at that time, on top of dealing with all the future cruise credits that they have to redeem, how would all that work out? You know what I mean? I'm sure they could figure out a system, but it would be too much chaos to suddenly have this explosion of cruises, of family vacations going on. You know what I mean? Like on summertime, it's busy, but it's not family-oriented busy like November and December holiday season cruising would be. When will tours be allowed back in the U.S.? That's a good question. You see, the United States is all over the place right now. It's a mess. I don't care what side you're on. Right, left, Democrat, Republican, it's a mess. I don't know. They're probably not going to let people in for some time. How can you social distance? You can in a lot of areas. You can't. Like, I mean, Mind Shift 2, they were kind of able to do it, you know, but they also sailed at, what is it? They say 60% capacity, but it looked like it was probably like maybe half. Like, I think 60% capacity, they're including both the crew and the passengers. You know what I mean? Like, because if it fits, let's say, what, I think 3,000 crew members and they had 1,200 on there, that's not even half. They'd have to, every cruise line would have to do that for social distancing to be possible. But some people don't like social distancing. Some people won't do it. And that's the issue. You know, some people won't do it. Is COVID really that bad in the United States? You know, it's hard to tell, to be honest with you. You guys know, like, this whole situation with COVID-19 is extremely, what's the word? Political. Well, political, I guess, would just be the word. This whole situation, guys, is extremely political. So nobody really knows the real numbers, right? There's always some inner workings of things going on. But I just think on the ships, you're not going to get enough people to follow the rules. Avid cruises that are going to be the first ones back on are going to probably be the most, you know, disobedient people that don't want to follow the rules because they want their cruise what they know as cruising. They don't want to change anything. As much as they may like the cruise lines, they still want to get exactly what they paid for, if that makes sense. Yeah, people are dying. You're right. No, I agree. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not saying it's not bad. It's just hard to pinpoint the real numbers because, you know, this is political. People are going to fabricate things and whatever. So whether it's true or not, there's just so much like political things going on, political elements that it's such a confusing time, especially here in the United States. Now the employee's salary will be the same as the previous contract, or they're cutting off salary. To be honest, I don't think the cruise lines would cut salaries per se, because people are already kind of, not everybody, but crew members on board already are kind of getting the bare minimum. And if they want people to come back, because it's not rocket science, every single crew member on board the ship knows that when they come back, they're probably going to be doing double or potentially triple the work. You know what I mean? They're not going to settle and say, all right, here, we'll take a couple $100 pay cut just to go back on the cruise and go do double the slave labor. They're not going to do it. And I'm not saying what they're doing is slave labor, but you guys know what I mean. The crew members on board the ships work hard. And for them to have to double up on that, I can't imagine them taking a pay cut to go back on the ship. I really can't. Some people will do it because they have no other choice, but not everybody. Numbers are inflated in some cases. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so political, and there are a lot of health agencies that are in a lot of political back pockets, politicians and stuff like that. It happens. That's just the reality of the world. You can't not believe that. There are health institutions that are owned by very, very wealthy and rich people that have a hidden agenda. Welcome to the world. It happens. Carnival wants final payment. October cruise, no way. I'll let them penalize me and dog them for life. Yeah, I don't blame you. I personally, if I had a cruise right now, the last thing I'd be doing is making any final payments. I couldn't. Let's see, MSC has hired back bar staff today. Okay, that's great. I know that they're planning on sailing in the Mediterranean, and that might actually go down. It might. I agree, less crew members, yeah. Like if cruise lines don't cut a decent deal with the crew members, no matter where they're from, you're not going to get you got to think about the quality too of crew members. If you got a bunch of rookies that have no idea what they're doing, that aren't good with people, imagine the overall experience for cruising. So if cruising does return in 2020, they're going to have to pay the crew members the same. If not, maybe some people might have to be bumped up a little bit more. Because everybody, unless you're crazy, everybody knows that if you're going back on the cruise ship to work, you're going to be doing a lot more work for probably the same pay, and that's not okay. But people will do it. I see people waking up to what's really going on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't mean to get like conspiracy-like or anything like that, but this is the world. We don't know every little thing that goes on in the world. That's just a fact of life. We don't know everything. We're the general public. People like you, me, we're not going to know everything that's going on. Same with the cruise lines. They probably, I would seriously doubt that they don't know full well that they're probably not going to sail until 2021. At least the cruise lines that are operating here in the United States. But they're not going to tell you that, because if people start canceling left and right, they're going to, you know what I mean? They're going to be in a lot of trouble. Why are the crews still stuck on cruise ships? Well, it's a process, getting these crew members home, getting them repatriated. The way it works with the whole Repatriation Act, let's say here in the United States, you got the CDC involved, and then the cruise lines too. Some would think it's greedy, to a sense that it is. They don't want to spend the money to get everybody home because, to be honest, yeah, it's extremely expensive to get, let's say you got 70 different nationalities like you would normally on a cruise ship. If you got that many people on the ship and you got to get all of them home and you can only do charter, imagine how expensive that is. Like, the cruise lines have the money, but it's like you got to see if it justifies the means, right? We're talking about human life here, but this is a corporate company that works on both spectrums. They got to look at it from their financial standpoint to keep themselves afloat, but they also got to have some type of humanity too, like look out for humankind, but you got to kind of meet in the middle somewhere. But that's why they're still trying to figure out, and they're trying to still hang hopes that cruising is going to happen soon. Let me see what I missed. I just missed a ton of stuff. Give me a second to try and catch up here. The Med has no chance. Spain and Portugal is back on the red list. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You got a lot of people saying the cruise lines are insane for even thinking about trying to operate right now because it's too soon. What do you guys think about that? Like, would anybody be surprised if cruising were to cancel worldwide for the rest of the year? Will they file bankruptcy? Who? The bigger guys? The bigger cruise lines? I don't see it. What do you mean will they file bankruptcy? Like, you're talking about a specific cruise line? You're talking about cruise lines in general? Because, I mean, I think the bigger ones are going to survive no matter what. They have enough credit lines to reach out and grab whatever they want. They can liquidate any of their assets at any given time. Maybe not for the price that they want, but they can still use it to stay afloat. Sometimes it's cheaper just to pay them instead of sending them home. Yeah, exactly. But the problem, you know, the issue is with the crew is that a lot of them aren't getting paid because their contract is up. You see, there are a lot of people that were on the ship, let's say months prior to this happening, and there are people there that had a couple days before their contract ended, and they're stuck on the ship for months. So technically and legally, they're not supposed to be getting paid. And a lot of them weren't. The cruise line can give them little odd jobs and stuff to do in order to make a little bit of money, but not all of their money. And that's the issue. Like on the ship, not everybody, because I know a lot of people naturally, because they don't understand how the cruise ship works, a lot of people think that when the big shutdown happened, people possibly had just gotten on the ship and their contract is still on. And no, at this point, everybody's contract for the most part is expired, like worldwide. You know what I mean? So it's like, if that's the issue, people technically aren't getting paid and they're stuck on board the ship, so they have no way to make money. They have deep pockets and banks will loan large amounts, to keep the big ones afloat. Exactly. They're not going anywhere. Disney was a zoo last year. I'd love to see how they social distance, The theme parks are still open here. I'm thinking about taking my son maybe to Universal, go see how it is. Wearing our mask, of course, too. I do want to check that out. I don't see it being anything relevant to what cruising would be like. Because it's not, to me, in my opinion, it's entertainment. It's a leisure, fun thing to do, but it's not in the same genre of cruising, in my opinion. What will they add to get people to gamble and book? What do you mean? Like incentives? They're going to have to incentivize people to come back. Don't worry, Ricky. I will be safe. Don't worry. No, you're right. Now, of course, I'll social distance and stuff like that, but, I'm probably going to check out maybe one of our local parks, maybe the park that I started working at. There's a couple theme parks here in my city, so I might go there myself first and get a real idea and feel for how it is, but I don't think it's any relation. Yeah, I know they're not busy. That's what I'm saying, Phil. I don't think they're busy. My son, I've never taken him to Universal because he was too young to get on the rides, and he cries. So I'm like, I'll wait till he's a little bit older, but since there's not a lot of people at theme parks, I think it'd be a good opportunity to, go spend all day at Harry Potter World. Get some butterbeer, I'm addicted to that place. I could stay there literally all day long. But what was I saying? So with the crew, the issue with them is getting them to come back, right? You got to incentivize the guests to come back, and then you got to maybe try to incentivize the crew in some way or fashion too. Either that, or we're going to see a lot more people that are possibly from developing countries, a little bit more people that don't have options. The cruise lines may reach out to them and grab them a little bit more so than, let's say, the people from like a first world country. For like the UK, United States, Australia, you might not see as many people of those nationalities on board the ship whenever they return. That's just my assumption. Lauren, we will go back. My girl wants to go back to Universal because she loves the butterbeer. We'll definitely go back, I promise. What's butterbeer? Nibbles. Oh my God, have you never watched Harry Potter? Butterbeer is the most amazing thing in the world. That's what it is. That's all you need to know. Go to Universal and go to Harry Potter World. That's all I'm going to say. Someone said the longest ride wait is 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm in there. I'm going to go. Let's see. They have to require trip insurance with a high medical coverage. Yeah. Now, that's the issue I think that everybody's thinking about with cruising. What if they make it so that you have to purchase your own insurance before you get on board the ship? Like, and it's not some rinky-dink, like you got to pay an extra couple $100 to cruise. What house am I in? Slytherin. Of course. I'm evil. No, not really. We're misunderstood. That's all. So yeah, I mean, that's my issue. They're gonna have to incentivize people to come back to cruising, but what's life gonna be like for cruising? Like, are you still gonna be able to enjoy like the quality of cruising that you once did? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if we gotta wear masks all over the place and sanitize and wake up every morning, it's like you're basically working on the ship. You got to be up at 7 a.m. in order to get your testing done, or your what is that, the infrared scanning, check your temperature and all that stuff. And if you miss it, you're done for the day. You can't go anywhere for the day. Could you imagine if they did that? Like, imagine if everybody had to be up by 7 a.m., then you got to wait in the line along with everybody else that's guest on board the ship to go get your temperature checked. in order for you to enjoy any of the amenities and activities on board the ship and in the ports. You know, that's my biggest worry, the quality on board. Can't breathe in those things. Breathe in what? You know, I just hope the quality of the cruise doesn't diminish, especially if we're going to be paying potentially the same price, if not more, for a cruise. You know what I mean? I just, if that's the issue, I don't think a lot of people would cruise anymore. If they got to pay the same price for something that gave them a ton of freedom, to have to wake up at a certain time or have it be required that they get checked, to have them be required that you have to wear the mask. The mask are hard to breathe for more than 30 minutes. Yeah, I agree. Do I think the Everglades will open by October? No, definitely not. Definitely not. If you look even over in that direction, maybe if you go like an hour or so down more over to Key West, I should have talked about it in my video, but they're talking about banning all cruise ships in their ports. And I'm sure maybe the bigger port Miami will be okay, but the smaller places like in the Everglades and Key West, they're probably going to go hand in hand and just stop cruising. Do you think the 125% is going to cover the cost of the future cruise? That's a big. I think it's a matter of when you use the future cruise credit, because cruise lines can go any one way. They can either make the prices higher out of the gate, right? Because they got to try to start recouping their debt that they're in, you know, their losses, or they're going to raise the price sometime after they get the initial people back on board cruises to show them what it's like, you know, and say, hey, it's still fun, we can do this. I think the premium overall for cruises will increase at some point, maybe just not immediately. Cruises through 2022 are too pricey now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think they're gonna initially, when they first open up, they're definitely going to try to get those eye catchers, those wild deals to bring people in, to start building some type of traction. And then after that, they would probably, you know, just up the price, because they'd have to. At some point, they got to recoup. And between the future cruise credits and everything else going on, personally, I don't believe that they could get back into profitability or get back to sustaining themselves if they keep the same prices we were once using, and also having to recoup the future cruise credit. I think it's almost impossible for them to do so. So they're going to have to up the ante, you know, the price at some point. Let's see. After 2022, no idea. It may go way up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We might go back to Titanic days where it's only like for the rich and famous. For like a regular cruise. Like to get on, let's say, I don't know, the Scarlet Lady. I mean, that price, well, to book a cruise with Scarlet Lady, it's already pretty expensive in my opinion. A little too overpriced. But what I'm saying is, like, for a regular cruise to go on like the Carnival Breeze or any like regular NCL ship, it still might be at a premium. At some point, maybe just not immediately, because they got to bring people back in first, and then they'll raise the price. They want to show people that they can still get value out of their dollar and the best bang for their buck, and then they raise the prices, because then people won't care after a while. At least for the avid cruiser. Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, my moderators are killing it, by the way, guys. If you guys are here, I have 158 people watching. If you could hit that like button, it's over there somewhere, I think, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Especially if they have to cruise half full until then. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like their biggest priority is not going to be, unfortunately, pleasing the guests. It doesn't work that way. They got to stay afloat. You know what I mean? So if they don't figure out some way to make the cruises more expensive or find some type of way to upsell somewhere, they're going to have a huge problem on their hands. So who knows? They might turn into they might do like a Spirit style. You guys been on Spirit where they make you the initial flight is cheap, and then you got to pay for literally everything else. I could see cruise lines adopting something along those lines, because, you know, it's kind of one of those things that once they got you, they got you. Once you're on the ship, they already know people are going to spend money. Alcohol will go through the roof. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'd be like a Spirit, or like even when I fly overseas, I usually fly Norwegian. You got to pay for everything, in-flight meal, all that stuff. You see, they're already getting rid of the buffets. That's phase one. That's phase one. Imagine if everywhere that you go, there's no more buffet, no more free everywhere. I don't think they do that, but for the most part, your main choices would be the specialty restaurants in which you have to pay. Soft drinks too, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine they aren't like Spirit. No, I mean, I'm just using that as like an example. I don't think the cruise lines would be like a Spirit Airlines where they make you pay for every little thing, but they are definitely going to find ways to upsell somewhere to get that profit, especially knowing that once you go on the cruise, you can't go anywhere. So if you really want something of value, some food, a comedy show, anything like that, they're probably going to turn that back and charge you for it when it used to be free, if that makes sense. Because I think we might see, my prediction anyway, we might see a couple people or a couple cruise lines initially start that, and then we'll slowly see other cruise lines following suit as well. When do I think cruising will resume? Next year? I want to say maybe like early spring. It wouldn't make sense for them to try to start back up in January or February. The only reason that it would is if they just want to get like their feet wet and figure out what the general experience overall for the crew members, everybody is, because it'll kind of be a slower time of the year because everybody's just trying to, group up for the year and plan and stuff. I'm surprised we don't get charged daily for room cleaning and even, yeah, you're right. For the room service and stuff, you're right. I agree. So you think cruises are going to cost 50% more when it's all figured out? I don't know about 50. I think that's a little too high. It's possible. I mean, some cruise lines, depending on the ship, like maybe one of these mega ships, they may potentially. I mean, that's where they can cut costs. But on the mega ships, because they're newer and they probably offer more, they might be able to flip that and maybe charge 15 to 20% more for your cruise. Either that or they'll just upsell you somewhere on the cruise along the way, whether it be an excursion, a drink. I could see the alcohol skyrocketing. I could see it. To be honest with you, I'd be surprised if the drink package, everything, right? They might figure out some way to push more people towards the drink package by upcharging a little bit more, maybe 10% more on the drinks itself, like a single drink. So they may say, hey, well, we up the price on the drink package, but it's still an even more better deal than if you buy solo drinks individually. Royal Caribbean Cruise book January 24th. Like I said, in my opinion, I just don't think it would make a lot of sense if cruise lines are trying to go in strong and really get in there for them to start. If they start in 2021, I can't see cruising starting in January. I think they push more toward early spring if they go that route. If they end up just completely cutting it until 2020 or 2021, I really don't see them saying, all right, it's January, here we go, let's do it, we're going to start. I don't see that happening. It's the beginning of the year. Everybody's still trying to figure out their budget and all that. Like I said, the only reason that they would start is if they were trying to get their feet wet and try to feel out the experience on board ships. January is too soon. If they go to 2021, then January is too soon. Oh, James J, got to run. See you later, Carol. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, my biggest thing is just what the overall experience will be, because personally, I don't mind going on the ship for the channel, but as a consumer and somebody that wants to go on a cruise, if it isn't of quality, I won't be happy. If I don't feel like I'm getting the best bang for my buck, and I feel like I'm paying, let's say if I pay $1,000 for a cruise, for a decent balcony room, okay, and I get the drink package, it'll run you around $1,000 or so, okay, give or take. If I do all that, and then I still have all these rules and restrictions and stuff, and my overall experience isn't what I want it to be, I don't know how I feel. Would I continue going on cruises? I don't know. You know what I mean? Anything like that, cruises are already going to try to get the most out of you that they can. They always have been. But they're going to be maybe a little bit more pushy than they normally would be. And then my worry is, too, what if they don't have the same quality of crew because they didn't keep the pay the same? If they lower the pay for the crew, imagine how the crew would treat everybody. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be people that are still willing to work and show quality service, but what would the overall experience be on board? That is my biggest worry, because to me, like, I don't mind paying for something. I believe you get what you paid for to a certain extent. However, if I get on the ship and my experience is less than what I paid for, what's the incentive for me to come back? You know, there is no incentive. We're talking about with the airlines. The airlines have everybody wearing masks, which is mandatory so they can keep the flight safer. Yeah, but still, I mean, without the social distancing and stuff, which again, something you can't really do on the ship. Again, unless they're running 50% occupancy, and then they're probably going to, for the most part, come at a loss. it's hard to social distance. And then what about the places that you don't want to social distance, like the clubs on board? You know, shoot, let's say you get to a club and you see a girl and you want to go talk to her, but you got a social distance. You know, how are you going to do it? How am I going to take somebody back to my cabin? How's that work? There are people that get on cruises just to do that. Let's see, why haven't the airlines been shut down like the cruise ships? Aren't people close together on a plane? Here's the thing, because I know that's something a lot of people ask a lot on the ship, or the difference between the ship and the airlines. What you have to understand about the airlines is that as much as, I mean, I know people rely on cruises, don't get me wrong. We need airlines. The airline industry keeps the country and all over the world running. It's part of the part of the system, I guess you could say. If you shut down airlines, there's going to be another pandemic we're facing because people have to get around. On top of that, they're United States owned, at least for the airlines here in the United States. Cruise lines, unless they're helping out the Bahamas or, you know, Panama or whatever, people don't care. Thank you. Why didn't I just say that? That could have been easier, right? Airlines are essential. There we go. We need them. Which, I mean, it doesn't justify. Look at what happened with the airlines. They bought back they had a ton of money, bought back all their stocks, then went to mommy and daddy, aka the government, and said, hey, we don't have any money. If you don't give us money, we're going to go down, and it's going to ruin your entire economy. So the airlines get one over on us and the rest and everybody else. So that's why. Cruise lines aren't established here, and they're not incorporated here in the United States, or really any first world country for that matter that has money to get them out of trouble. So if you have an idea, if you have an idea, the inside cabin and the balconies are sold out, would you be canceled? That's a good question. That's what I'm saying, you know. I think that all ties into how they're going to use even the future cruise credit. How are they going to decide who gets on the cruise and who doesn't? You know, it's like an airline. Like, I'm sure maybe they overbook sometimes, you know, just to be on the safe side. And let's say, you know, there's only a limited amount of balcony rooms. What if they run out? Maybe in NCL, they're going to put somebody in the Haven Suites if they run out of the regular balcony rooms. You know, I wonder how that would be. Like, what if you paid for a inside basic cabin, like the standard cabin, and since they ran out of balconies, they bumped you up to the highest suite that money could buy? How cool would that be? I couldn't say no to that. I would cancel. I'm going to be stuck in an inside cabin for 7 days. Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be the new thing. Cabins are going to maybe be a thing of the past. But another question that's being raised about the situation, what about the crew? Because cruise lines typically run understaffed, if you guys don't know that. It's for that reason you'll see the same crew members working. You'll see a crew member, or him or her, working at 7 a.m. in one place, and then at 7 p.m. they're back again at another bar. They're understaffed, and it's for that reason that they have to basically have like a full crew, whether they're running maybe 50, 60% occupancy, because they still have to serve everybody. They can't just drop the crew like that. It's just a matter of where they're going to put them, because a lot of crew members are bunked up like 3 people to a room, and they can't use the inside cabin. So do the crew members get a balcony cabin too for the guests, like a guest balcony cabin? Crew members are essential and underpaid. I agree. Not as underpaid as a lot of people might think, because they don't factor in the value of let's say the US dollar. You know, some currency is worth more than other places. Like in the United States, you'll find on the cruise lines, NCL, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, what have you, if they're operating in the United States, people are getting paid USD, or even if they're getting paid Euro. For them, let's say you got somebody from Mexico, obviously the peso is not worth as much as the US dollar. Well, it's only a matter of time now. The US dollar is falling apart. But let's say somebody has like a euro. If our ship is based in Europe and somebody's from Mexico, they're getting paid euros. So it may equal out to a little bit more than they could potentially be making at home. So, you know, that's the issue. I mean, it's quality of the experience, and how is it going to be organized when it comes back? You know, there's just so many questions to be asked about cruising, especially for the rest of this year. The CDC had the final say and stay what can open. Yeah, you're right. What was that, Phil? People like me or people that work in the lines in the office? What about it? What do you mean? If a vaccine is developed, everything will go back to normal. I don't think so. I think the idea of normal is a thing of the past, guys. It is. You know, I may just be talking out of my mouth, but I don't see how we can go back to normal. As much as I hate to say the word, there's going to be a new normal. That's just, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We live in what you would call the digital revolution. And this pandemic just expedited everything. So you're gonna see a lot of things going digital forever, stuff like that. There's gonna be a lot of changes, and we're not gonna go back to normal. It's not gonna happen. I'd be very, 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 very surprised if we went back to normal. There's gonna be a new normal. What about the cruises in the Caribbean? What about cruising in the Caribbean? Most ports and islands in the Caribbean have canceled cruising until further notice. Like the only places that might open up, Barbados is still letting like cruise ships come in, so they might let, and they depend heavily on the tourism. So they'll probably let people in whenever cruising actually starts back up. The Bahamas might be one of them, or they'll at least allow clearance to their private island. You know, St. Kitts, maybe. St. Martin, probably not. They have money over there. Bermuda, can't see it. Wow, yeah, Phil. They lost over $40,000 over this situation. People are losing money left and right. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, man, sorry to hear that, Phil. Like, this is a crazy, crazy time that we're in. It really is. Oh, yeah, everybody's talking about the mustard drill, how it's gone digital. That should have happened a long time ago, to be honest. The mustard drill is a joke. Because you want to know the truth about that, I'll tell you two things about the mustard drill. One, if there is a real emergency, things will not go down like that. You're not going to single file line into a room and it won't go down like that. Two, the crew members are out. They're going to be gone, right? I joked around when I said it, but there's always a little bit of truth in every single joke. I told people straight up, if there's an emergency, I'm going to take off my name tag and I'm going to turn into a guest. That's the only option. If the ship is sinking, man, I'm not trained to help people in that way. I would do my best if I could. If should an opportunity around for me to save a life, I would. But if we had an emergency where the ship is sinking, I'm out. I'm tell you that right now. I'm out. You get mad, I'm out. There are a lot of crew members that feel the same way. I'll help to a certain extent. You know what I mean? But I'm sorry. I'm not gonna die and have my son not have me growing up or not experience the rest of my life because I'm doing what I feel is protocol for a company that would fire me in a hot second if I stepped out of line once. It's true. It's true. Behavior. I mean, the thing is, what I'm trying to say is I'm not trained to help people. I'm not trained for that. There are plenty of people that are trained for that. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. There are people, I would do what I can, but I wouldn't just sit there. Let's say the ship is actually sinking. No, I'm sorry. There are people that are actually trained to be, have firefighter training, have medical training, and it's their job to understand how to work all the machines that are able to save lives. What would I do? You know what I mean? I'd help out for a little while, but if things push come to shove, I'm out. You know, like what are they gonna say? Justin he died doing what he loved. No, I like helping people. If I would save somebody if I had the opportunity. But that's it. That's just the truth. I'm not gonna lie about it. Would you guys? You're basically standing up for your company if that's the case. It's not even about humanity. Because if you think about it, if you have no real training, like let's say maybe 50% of the crew members on board, what use are you? You're literally in the way. So anyway, that's my thought on the matter. The Costa Concordia captain was probably the worst, abandoning the ship at the beginning. He said he fell into a lifeboat. See, there's a difference. There's a difference between a captain and me. The captain, his life is, and he has like a moral obligation. Everybody knows that. Go down with the ship, that whole thing. He may not have to go down with the ship, but his duty is to make sure everybody's life is taken care of before his own. That's his duty. Me as an entertainer on the ship, that's not my duty. I'm gonna help where I can, but if I'm not trained to make sure everybody gets into the lifeboat correctly or anything like that, they're not gonna teach me that in 2 seconds. I'm literally in the way. That's the truth. You know what I mean? I would do more harm than good. Anyway, that's my little spiel on that, but that's just how I feel about the situation. Bahamas got pretty good hit from the tropical storms. How are things in your area? In my area, I'm fine. I mean, I'm in Tampa. To be honest, like we're not gonna see anything. It's raining here, but it rains here every other day or every day. So that's not an issue. You know, there's a theory or like I guess a folk tale, whatever it is you want to call it, about Tampa Bay. Apparently, this is the place where the islands used to be, or islands, the pirates used to come, because they said whenever they came to Tampa Bay, the storms wouldn't make it over to this area. And Tampa technically hasn't had a real hit, a hurricane hit, in about 80 years. We had that Category 1 about 4 years ago, or was it like 3 or 4 years ago, but that doesn't count. Category 1 to a typical Floridian, just a tropical storm with a little bit of wind. So that's it. But we'll see. I don't know. This might be the year. With everything going on, this just might be the year that we get hit with like something serious. I hope not, because I don't live too far away from the water. I'm like 5 minutes away from the cruise port. Gasparilla. What you know about Gasparilla, Steve? Gasparilla is a good time. It really is. I have some crazy memories there. I got taken there as a kid to the night parade. I saw some things and I was changed forever. Any 2020 sailings from the U.S.? I don't think so. I'd be thoroughly surprised. I would. Even if they come out with a vaccine by, let's say, October, I'd be very surprised if cruising's happening in the United States. Could it be possible that aliens could take over a cruise one day in the middle of the ocean? I don't know. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if aliens showed up right now and said, we exist. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I say, oh, I knew it. And I continue about my day. No aliens. Well, y'all see the government's already talking about this stuff, guys. The government's already saying that they have vehicles that weren't made on Earth or something like that. You know, but I wouldn't be surprised. Again, like, call it conspiracy, whatever. We don't know everything. We don't. The general public will freak out. You saw everybody reacted to this whole situation with the tissue paper. Come on. What do you mean stop lying? Stop lying about what? I'm not lying about anything. What do you mean stop lying? I'm being as honest as I can. Cruises may turn into aliens after a week on a boat. You're right. Right. We have enough problems getting along with each other. Exactly. Look what happened with the tissue paper. There are places that still on short supply over that. Have you ever thought about studying to become an engineer or deck officer? No, I'd be bored. I'd be bored, to be honest. Tissue paper, you don't know. So whenever all this was happening with the situation with the pandemic, everybody started like panic buying tissue paper. I saw it in Australia first before it got over here, because I was telling everybody. I got too many friends all over the place to not know that the pandemic was going to come to the United States. And I said, when it comes here, it's going to be worse than literally everywhere else in the world. Everybody's like, no, it's not. I'm like, think about it. Americans, we can be very, not everybody, but Americans can be very entitled, very materialistic, very fearful, and they can sway like one way. And this is what happened. Our medical is shit, you know what I mean? Oh, I just cursed. Our medical is not good, but, you know, look what happened. We couldn't handle aliens. Yeah, Americans. I don't think, you know, the thing about Americans, you can't clump every American into one category, because America is just like one of the biggest melting pots on the planet. And it's kind of one of those things like, you ever see Forrest Gump? Life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get in America. You never know. You'll find a lot of materialistic people chasing that fake American dream crap, where they're trying to pretend that they're going to have a mansion one day and a Lamborghini or something like that, even though they're working for somebody that already has it. You know, but like, I think that outside of the U.S., other countries have like a very different vibe. They're kind of on the same wavelength to a certain extent. You know, but I'm just trying to figure out what's going to happen, because we're not going back to normal. Impossible. You have small businesses left and right that aren't going to survive this. And you know, here, maybe I'm wrong on this, but somebody Somebody has to agree with me on this. Has anybody ever been to, there's two restaurants that I want to talk about, Arby's and Long John Silver's. Have y'all been there? Because I'm telling y'all right now, if those two places survive this pandemic, they're not just selling food. They're not just selling food. I promise you. I promise you. If they survive this pandemic, they're doing something. Exactly. Nobody's been to those. I'm telling you, they're smuggling drugs or something. If they don't go, I don't want them to. Nobody wants to see a company go down. But I'm just saying, who goes there? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm talking about too much random stuff. Hey guys, we got 10 minutes left. If anybody has any questions, we could talk. I mean, I'm down. Ask. I know. I just had to talk about the whole cruise. I wanted to have a subject matter for today's episode or the live stream, but you know, I think we've talked about it enough. We all know like it's kind of questionable with cruising happening in 2020, and nobody really would be surprised if it canceled for the rest of the year. We hope not. You know, maybe they'll come out with a miracle vaccine tomorrow, and we can get back to our somewhat regular lives. So, construction workers on their lunch break. That's funny. Do they? Do they have the money for commercials? I know Arby's has that kind of money. I've never seen an Arby's commercial. Not once. I love Long John Silver's, but they're very rare to find. Yeah, they're all going down. It's like finding like a church's chicken or something. I see Arby's commercials all the time. Where are you guys living at? Cali? I've never seen an Arby's commercial. Oh wait, I did see that one. We have the meats. I have seen that one. Don Ling, thank you for the super chat. You guys getting these little cool stickers. I gotta upgrade my live. You see like La Lita Loca and all the rest of the guys, they have all these little cool like sounds and noises and stuff. I want that. But I'm not a tech savvy guy. I'm trying to figure it out as I go along. You're the best. No, Donna, you're the best. You are. You guys are the best. Whataburger's going away. I don't like Whataburger. It's disgusting. Jay, when are you going to Europe? Oh, okay. So here's the thing. I'm trying to get to Europe sometime toward the end of next month. I'm looking at a couple little loopholes here and there, talking to people that have been able to get from the United States to Europe because I want to go see my girlfriend. So that's the plan. I'm going to buy a ticket maybe sometime this week and try to find like a loophole to get into Europe. Maybe go to the UK, quarantine there, and then my girlfriend lives in France. So that's the plan. Let's see, what you got, Phil? He said, I'm looking to get a special pricing for fall exclusive to ShipLife subs. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, guys, you don't know, Phil he owns Cruise For You travel agency, so they're the sponsors for my channel. So he said hopefully he's gonna get some type of deal, at least when cruising gets back up and running. So yeah, make sure you guys check out his agency. Make sure he does you right. Let's see, you should go to Mexico City and then go to Paris. Yeah, I got a friend of mine that she was in France or in Mexico and she was able to bounce over from there too. But I hear that's gonna end soon. Let's say no quarantine in the UK now. Exactly. So I think I can just fly to the UK. If I do got a quarantine, I got friends over there I might pop by and see, and that's the plan. How do crew members deal with motion sickness? It's one of those things that either you get it or you don't. I never had motion sickness. I didn't have to deal with it. Like everybody just kind of adjusts to it. Some people that have continuous motion sickness end up ending their contract early. It's literally one of those. You got to adjust it. Better to have a mask. Oh yeah, I will have a mask. I have a mask even here when I go anywhere. Supergirl Leo, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate the channel support, especially now with these ad revenues going down. Google is not having it. Let's see, I already have future cruise credit for 4 cruises canceled by COVID. I assume they pay up now on the November cruise. Do you think I should use the future cruise credit pay with cash or cancel? I mean, it comes down to what it is that you want, to be honest with you. Said Damaris, it depends on what you want. If you plan on cruising in the future, I would take the future cruise credit, hold on to it, right? Because it might be somewhat valuable later on, depending on the timing. As far as canceling, I wouldn't cancel unless you know for a fact you don't want to go on a cruise. I would, in my opinion. Like if you don't plan on cruising anymore, yeah, cancel, get your money and get out of there. As far as paying with cash, if you want to pay for the whole cruise, why not? If it cancels, you're going to get more future cruise credit out of it. They won't let you keep it. Keep what? Keep what? 30 years ago, I supplied my bartender with ginger peels for his seasickness and got free drinks. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like some people like kind of stick it out. A lot of people don't have a choice. But I personally, I don't get seasick. There are a lot of people that don't. But for some people, you'll see some people that maybe have it really bad and they get it and they get off the ship and end their contract. Some people just deal with it because they need the money. Oh, who said that? Oh my God. All right, I'm gonna be nice because you just gave me a super chat. You said Whataburger and In-N-Out taste the same? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Don't ever say that again. It's horrible. Don't ever say that. In-N-Out burger is delicious. Animal style burger. It's amazing. There's some reports that people whose future cruise credit disappeared. No way. You think there's an article about it? That's going to be big. If that's the situation, I hope not. If that is the situation, I don't know what to say on that one. They got to tighten up. That's for sure. Five Guys. Don't get me started. Should I might get some Five Guys today. I love Five Guys. Yeah, thank you guys. We got five more minutes. Hit that like button for me too while you're here. Thank you. My girl said, what about duck meat? Guys, so in France, there's this really, really delicious restaurant that I think about all the time called Duck Me. It's duck burgers. And it is the most delicious thing ever. If you guys are ever in Toulouse, France, 'cause I think that's the only place they have it, Toulouse, go to Duck Me. You won't regret it. And thank me later. It's amazing. It might even change your life. Sounds expensive. What, the duck burger? Not really, to be honest with you. It's worth it. It's a duck burger. Well, I mean, so the thing is, over in, from what my girl told me, over in there, duck is like equivalent, almost the equivalent to their cow, how we have here in the United States. Like duck is like the thing to eat over there. So as far as the duck burgers, I could see if you were eating like duck liver or something like that, it might be a little more expensive, but I think the duck burgers are pretty cheap. Oh my God, Phil, what did you say, White Castle? Don't get me started. Anybody that hasn't tried White Castle, you gotta get it. Like, think about it. They made a movie about it. It was worth it. Everything those guys went through in that movie was worth it. I love White Castle. Whenever I go to my hometown back in Chicago, that's the first thing I get when I get off the plane. White Castle you went to the wrong White Castle, Deborah. That's what happened. You get a Crave case and some cheese sticks, it's a wrap. I'll eat the whole thing. That's why I can't live up north. I'll be fat. I took my son to Crystal's the other day. I'll never do it again. It was disgusting. They're like a wannabe, if you guys don't know, Crystal's is like the southern wannabe White Castle without cheese sticks. And it's not good. The frozen ones at Walmart, yeah, surprisingly, right? If you get the frozen hamburgers from any store, Walmart or whatever, they taste pretty close. I don't know how they do it. It's amazing. Yep, I'm from Chicago, off the South Side Burgers. No, I've never had that. If you're from Chicago, have you had a Jewtown polo sausage? That's really good. Guys, we got to stop talking about all this food. I'm about to eat in a minute. I'm starving. When you grew up, what, a White Castle in every corner? I couldn't do that. I'd be the fattest man alive. To be honest, I'd probably be dead by now from eating all that. I'd have a heart attack because I would get a Crave case every single day and eat White Castle. No joke. That's why I can't go to some of these places. Guys, bro, you mean Five Guys. You mean Five Guys. How we start talking about food? How we get here? The Oreo cheesecake, don't get me started. NCL needs to tighten up. They better have it when we get back. I'm gonna write a letter. Somebody. I'm writing a letter to the NCL's CEO. We're gonna have a problem. Like, look, I don't care about your quarantine. All I want is the Oreo cheesecake. And give me your chef or your baker. Whoever makes the Oreo cheesecake, I need him in my room forever. And take him off the ship and kidnap him and have him make Oreo cheesecake forever. And nobody here say anything about Oreo cheesecake at Cheesecake Factory. It's not the same. It's not the same. Cheesecake Factory is good, but their Oreo cheesecake is not the same as NCL's Oreo cheesecake. They need to name one after you. That'd be cool. We'll see. All right, what's your honest opinion? When do you think cruises will start in the United States? If we don't get confirmation of cruising happening between now and maybe mid-September, I don't think it's happening at least until maybe spring of next year. Call me crazy, but that's how I feel about it. I can't see it happening any sooner than that. They're not going to start in holiday season. I'd be very surprised. Starting in January, the only reason they do that is because they're trying to test the waters, because the supply and demand wouldn't be as strong, so they can feel it out before spring. But I'm thinking if they don't start, and by the time this CLIA order clears and the no-sale order clears, they're going to push maybe until spring of next year. I could be wrong. Remember, guys, just a random guy on YouTube right here. I could be wrong, but that's how I feel about the matter. Let's see, Jay, how can you receive gifts from your YouTube fans? And did you finally get a Patreon? No, I haven't really gotten too thoroughly look into Patreon. I do have a PO box. I need to put it in my description box. I'm gonna do that. Actually, I need to do that tomorrow. I gotta go to the post office tomorrow. Anyway, I'll get all that and I'll put it in there, and I'll make sure I announce it in the video in case you guys want to send me stuff. What are you guys gonna send me? Some Oreo cheesecake? Don't try to get in Europe without a European passport. Doesn't matter where you fly from. I have seen plenty of people get there. Plenty of people. Trust me, I've seen plenty of people fly. Even this past week alone, people have flown from Orlando, people have flown from New York, straight over to the UK and had no problems. So why not? I mean, worst case scenario, my flight gets canceled and I have to take the points. So I'm gonna buy the ticket and I'm gonna make the attempt. Why not? I said, I've talked to plenty of people that said they got in. Yeah, guys, hit that like button. We actually got to get out of here because I'm starving. You guys keep talking about Oreo cheesecake and the EU. Oh, EU, my bad. What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about the UK. The only way I've seen people go to the UK or EU is from Mexico. But I think that little portal is going to be closed pretty soon. Anyway, yeah, you guys, I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you so much again for the live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And that's it. I'll have videos either maybe today. I'll see how I'm feeling. And then after that, I'll have them tomorrow morning as well, guys. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. I appreciate you guys. You guys take it easy, all right? See you tomorrow or later on today. It's like a big mystery. You never know what you're going to get.